Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm bringing you a slightly different video. It's bike related in a non-bike related way. As you can probably tell by the title already, what I'm going to be telling you about today is what I have in my camera bag, what sort of gear I use to shoot my vlogs and videos, what sort of stuff I recommend you should get if you want to start YouTube, and basically just the price of my whole setup so you guys know the sort of range you're working with to get a decent YouTube vlogging setup. Also the price range of a real good sort of low budget camera and gear that you can use to start vlogging and make some sick edits. Let's jump straight into it. I'm not really sure where to start or how I'm going to do this, to be honest. I'm going to close my bag so we can start from the top inwards. No, you know what? We'll start it from the inwards outwards because that's got the more exciting stuff in it. Here is my camera bag. Let's just pump the app so you guys can see in there a little bit better. As you can see, we've got a whole sort of plethora of different things in here, different lenses, drone attachments, other lenses, spare bits, GoPro. So we're just going to individually run through each thing and try and sort of explain what everything is. This right here is a Insta360 360 cam, and basically this is extremely new and I haven't really used it much yet, and you guys won't have seen any videos of it at all at this point, but maybe by the time you're watching this video I will have put something on Instagram, so if you follow me there you might have caught something. Basically this is exactly like the GoPro Fusion, if you guys know what that is, except it's not GoPro. It shoots 360 degree because it has two cameras on it which face opposite ways, and then when you edit you stitch them together and you can get the cool shots where you like look all around you when you're riding, or do the weird crazy things where people 360 round the camera or flip round the camera and stuff, which always looks epic and it's like mind-blowing. There's not much I can actually say about that because I haven't even seen if it looks any good yet. So underneath that we have my drone, which is a DJI Spark, as we can see right here. The DJI Spark is the smallest DJI drone that there is on the market at the moment. It's also the cheapest one. Super small, super portable, fits straight in my bag. Comes with two batteries, there's one in it already and there's one here. And yeah, that's sort of it really. It's only 500 quid for the whole setup, which is awesome. That's good for getting the cool aerial shots that you will have seen in some of my earlier videos. Haven't used it too much recently, to be quite honest with you, and that's mainly because I'm actually filming most of my videos in this woods, so there's not really much I can do with the drone, which kind of sucks, but at the same time not much I can do about it. I mean, I can't fly through trees and stuff. Maybe at some stage I'll try and, you know, launch the drone actually in the woods and get some kind of crazy following shots so I can be a bit daring with my piloting skills, but don't know, no promises. Next thing, but basically exactly the same, is my DJI controller, which obviously you need to fly the drone, so we won't go into that. That came with the package deal I got with the drone itself. I bought the Fly More combo, which gives you loads of stuff that you need for the drone for kind of a lesser price than if you buy it all individually. This here is some spare GoPro and Insta360 stuff because they're both compatible with them mounts, which is actually pretty awesome and I didn't know that. What's next? We've got this big bit of fluff here. This is called a dead cat, and this is what you actually put on the microphone, which I'm running now, which I'll show you in a sec, and that is for making the wind noise a bit more bearable for the mic. I'm honestly not sure how it works because you'd kind of think that the fur blowing you'd be able to hear it, but I mean, I guess it does work because it does work. In that same slot, I've got this, which is a Canon 50mm lens. If we can just get that out of the actual packet. 50mm lens, it's a prime, doesn't zoom, it's just the one focal length, which is epic. This is the lens that I normally use if I get any B-roll shots because everything looks good on a 50mm. The shots you would have seen of the trees and stuff, that was using this. The shots that you're probably actually seeing over me speaking of each individual product is done with this. Such a good lens, and it's extremely cheap actually for how well it performs. I believe it's 100 quid, possibly not even. This isn't really mine. My brother got it for my mum, and My mum never uses it, probably because it's always in my bag. Moving on, we have this here. This is a Boya BY-WM5, or in normal English, it's a lav mic, a lavalier mic, which is the sort of mic you see me wearing on here when I do like sick tricks or other videos like that. You clip it on here, you attach it to the transmitter itself, and then you attach a receiver on the camera and plug it into the mic slot, and then you can just speak freely. You don't really have to shout at the mic, you just sort of speak normally. You'll know when I use the mic because you'll see that little bit of fluff on my shirt just about here. Quality of that's really, really good. For the sort of stuff that Sam does with his lav mic, where I'm filming from miles away, that mic doesn't perform so well because the range on it cuts out at quite a sort of short distance, but it's way enough, for example, for me to put the camera where I am now and go and like stand at that jump and you'd still be able to hear me. And yeah, it just gives a really nice crisp quality audio and completely blocks out the wind, probably because it's so small. Moving on, we're getting to the end of the thing. I've just got some spare sort of lens caps and camera sensor caps, which is for if I'm not running a lens on my camera, I'll put this one on, or if I take the lens off that I'm using now, I put that on the back because it is a Sigma lens that's on there at the moment. This case is actually for an 8mm fisheye by Oshiro, which was only 115 quid, which is really cheap, and it performs surprisingly well for how cheap it is. If you know a little bit about cameras, you'll know what I'm about to say. But basically, the fisheye that I do have has a bit of chromatic aberration, which isn't too noticeable in normal filming, but you can sometimes see it in photos. But I think something to do with the glass gives it real good lens flares, which is something I quite like about it. I actually don't run that lens in its case because I've swapped that out for the Canon 18 to 55mm. This is what I used to use to vlog on all the time. This is the standard kit lens that you get with the camera I'm shooting on right now. Yeah, it's super good. Zooms from 18mm to 55mm. Perfect for vlogging if you're just starting out, but I like the 10mm look, which is what we're on right now, which is that super wide. And we've just got one more thing to look at, which is this GoPro. This is a GoPro Hero 5. Yes, I have smashed the lens. Some of you probably will have noticed that from actually in the videos. You sometimes see that shiny bit at the bottom left of the screen. That is because of that crack. Part of me also kind of likes the way that that looks with that little shiny bit at the bottom. So moving on to the last bit, really flipping this bag over, we've got this top bit up here. In here, all I have is, well, let's just mention I've got this little tripod here, which is a super cheap one. I think it's Manfrotto, but basically it's cheap and pretty good for how cheap it is. It's quite a tall tripod. I use it all the time for filming my stuff, but it doesn't have a handle to turn with, which is annoying, so you can't really do any pan or tilt shots. For just doing stationary shots when you're on your own, perfect. Finally, right here, I've got this GoPro chest mount, which I use all the time for when I'm doing the point of view laps down the trail, and yeah, that obviously performs as well as you'd imagine it. Gives you a good cockpit view of everything, and yeah, it's pretty sick, to be honest. The final thing to mention is, what camera am I shooting on right now? The DSLR that I use for vlogging when it's not a GoPro is a Canon 750D, which I believe is one generation back from the newest one. Obviously, if you don't know anything about cameras, you won't know what I'm on about at all, but yeah, it's quite a new camera basically. It was 500 quid for the body and the kit lens, which is super awesome to get started out on. It's got everything you could want. It takes good quality photos at 24 megapixels, shoots full HD in 1080. The only thing it lacks is slow motion, but what I can say is that I highly recommend this camera right now that I'm shooting on if you want to start your own vlogs. If you don't have 500 quid to chuck away, I'd recommend the 650D because it has the spin round screen as well, which a 700 doesn't have, and I'd imagine, I don't know, but I'd imagine that it is cheaper because it is a way older design. Finally, the mic that I'm shooting on is a Rode video mic. It's the biggest one that they do for DSLRs, I think. probably one of the better quality mics. That was 100 quid plus the Dead Cat 120 quid something. You don't need an insane Rode mic to start vlogging. Basically any mic is better than your camera's audio, so even if you can only afford a 20 quid mic, get it. And then last but not least, the lens I'm shooting on right now is a Sigma 10-20. I recently bought that. That was 300 quid I believe, and lens is really good. It's what I'm using now, so it goes from that focal length to kind of zoomed in, which is really epic. So I can shoot nice and wide if we're in sort of tight spaces, and I've also got that tiny bit of zoom just to get the last bit of action as someone, you know, goes out the shot or something, which is what I really like. And also, if you ever notice, if you watch a lot of YouTube, you'll notice that people use 10mm lenses all the time. This focal length is literally vlogging, so it just looks so nice. The only thing that is a problem is that the autofocus is kind of loud. I'll move the camera towards me and then you'll hear it. If you can put up with that in your footage, you'll be alright. So, tallying up the price of the total kit that I've got in that bag, probably about 2 grand's worth of stuff. But if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I don't have 2 grand to just blow on stuff to start making YouTube videos, that's absolutely fine. Literally, I have no joke, all you need is a GoPro, a chest mount, and you're done. You don't even need to really invest in a mic with certain GoPros, because certain of them actually do it quite well. Like the Hero 4 is actually really good on audio, and the Session is surprisingly weirdly good on audio too. And you're pretty much set for vlogging for a while, to be honest. So, that is the end of the video. I hope it wasn't too long. I planned for it to be about 5 minutes long, and I think I've spoken for at least 25 minutes, so I'm gonna have to cut that down quite a lot. I hope you found it useful. Hope maybe it encourages you to get out there and start vlogging. And yeah, that's it really. See you in the next one.
I just wanna have some fun.